In a world where nations strive for economic growth and development, some countries continue to face immense challenges. Despite their rich cultural history and potential, these nations struggle with poverty, low GDP, and a lack of resources. Let's take a look at the 10 poorest countries in the world based on GDP per capita in 2024. At number 1, we have Burundi with a GDP per capita of only $230. Despite its rich culture and natural resources, Burundi faces political instability and one of the highest poverty rates in the world. Next is Afghanistan, with a GDP per capita of $353. Years of conflict have devastated its economy, and while the country is rich in history, its development has been stunted by ongoing turmoil. At number 3, we find Syria. With a GDP per capita of just $421, the Syrian civil war has left its economy shattered, leaving millions in poverty and hardship. South Sudan follows, with a GDP per capita of $422. Despite being rich in oil reserves, decades of civil war and internal conflict have kept this country from prospering. Malawi, with a GDP per capita of $480, ranks 5th. Known for its agriculture, Malawi faces economic struggles due to limited industrial development and widespread poverty. At number 6, Yemen has a GDP per capita of $486. Political unrest, economic collapse, and humanitarian crises have plagued the country for years, leaving its population in dire conditions. Sierra Leone ranks 7th with a GDP per capita of $526. While the country has made strides since its civil war, it still faces immense challenges in healthcare, education, and infrastructure. In 8th place is the Central African Republic with a GDP per capita of $537. Years of armed conflict have stunted its development, leaving much of its population struggling to meet basic needs. Madagascar ranks 9th with a GDP per capita of $538. Although rich in biodiversity and resources, poverty remains widespread due to poor infrastructure and political instability. Finally, Sudan rounds out the top 10 with a GDP per capita of $547. Decades of conflict and economic sanctions have led to a fragile economy, with much of its population living below the poverty line. These countries face enormous challenges, but they also possess incredible potential. With the right support, stability, and resources, these nations could break free from the cycle of poverty and begin to flourish. As the world works toward global development, we must remember that progress for one nation benefits us all. Let's continue to support efforts